Hi, I'm Nico Kratsotis from the Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. Welcome to our weekly podcast. Coming up on today's show, we chat to Lyle Cooper, presenter extraordinaire, and find out his background and how he fits into the whole Direct Line scheme of things. We'll also be chatting to top trainer Brett Crawford. He recently left South Africa to go overseas to train in Hong Kong. The Hong Kong season starting soon, and we'll be chatting to Brett Crawford on the Direct Line a bit later on. And we'll also look at the recent winners of the Equus Awards, the championship horse racing awards that were held last weekend down in Durban. And we'll be looking at all the winners and working out how it all came to be. That's coming up on the Direct Line, powered by 10Bet. Right, welcome to this week's show, and a special person I've invited to be part of today's show is Lyle Cooper. He needs no introduction to horse racing fans, but on this particular forum, I wanted to find out quite a bit more about Lyle Cooper, and he joins me in the studio today to chat about his exploits in horse racing. Welcome to the studio, Lyle. It's great to have you with us on the Direct Line. And I say great to have you with us, but you've been with us for a while on the Direct Line because you're part of the tipping team that makes up the success that the Direct Line has been since its inception.
I'm excited to be here, Nico. This is going to be fun. What a lovely studio you found here. And we're going to get to know each other a bit better, or the viewers will get to know us a bit better. And looking forward to this venture. This is going to be exciting.
Now, I'm going to take you back a little bit of time away because quite a number of years ago, Lyle will correct me. He'll actually tell me exactly how many years it was, but I was in charge of the horse racing channel that was hiring new presenters at the time. And a certain executive came to me, one that I didn't particularly like, to be honest, but came to me and said, "You need to hire this guy. He is training me to play better golf. He's coaching me to play better golf at my golf club. And you must employ him as your new presenter." And me being who I am said, there's no ways that I'm going to be told who to hire. I'm going to obviously audition everyone and work out what their strengths are and how strong they'll be as a horse racing presenter and what their backgrounds are. And eventually, after I did all my auditions, one of the shortlisted names was the man sitting with me now, Lyle Cooper. So congratulations, you won it on merit.
Thank you. I thought, John told me that he took me in because of my looks, because he said they need to get the looks up in the
station.
Did
he say that? Yeah.
So that's why I thought I got it, but thank you. Now I know the truth. But I didn't know him exceptionally well, and I was so excited when you mentioned the auditions. And if I remember correctly, the other people doing the auditions with me didn't really understand horse racing. So I found the questions particularly easy. Why? Because I followed horse racing my entire life since I was 12 years old.
Really? But your background is golf. So when did you pursue your golf? What age were you when you said, right, I want to start playing professional golf?
Well, I nearly left school when I was 15, but thankfully I stayed in. I went over to Australia, played golf in Australia for about a year, and then I came back, did my national service. Yeah. And then I played golf for 16 hours a day for 3 years.
16 hours a day.
I had no skin on my hands, the normal, 10,000 rule. 10,000. Hit 10,000.
Now, just quickly, were you following in someone in the family's footsteps?
No.
On golf, or you just wanted to? You seriously wanted to play the
desire.
Game? Yeah.
There's a sporting background in our family, so we had the blood, but golf is the hardest thing you'll ever do as a professional. So I spent 22 years in golf.
Yeah.
I was a professional. I was a South African trick shot champion. I won 5 tournaments. And then I became a coach, and I was in the top 3 coaches for the last probably 10 years. So I loved it.
So you must have met some of these professional golfers that are playing now.
Yeah.
I know you've aged a bit since you started playing golf, but tell us about when you were playing golf professionally. Who were some of the other big names around you?
You're not going to believe this, Nico. Who did I get? Ernie Els and Retief Goosen. That was my year. So, I go out there and Ernie Els and Retief Goosen would spit us out and throw us on the floor.
Yeah.
Even the older guys like John Bland were around, Mark McNulty. For goodness sakes, David Frost. They were just above me, old age-wise. So I was in a bad era. Yeah. My era was top golfers.
But it is particularly tough to break through.
It's hard, Nico.
I know my young sons, and you've coached them on a couple of occasions, want to play golf. It's very much an individual sport, but it is cutthroat And as you say, you played 16 hours a day. And just at the end of that, you worked out that it wasn't for you to pursue.
Well, I was good enough, but mentally I wasn't.
Yeah.
Mentally, in these sports, to go to that next level, you need something special, which I don't quite think I possessed, because I'd get nervous. When there was a putt for £1 million, my hands would shake.
Yeah.
Ernie Els's hands don't shake. £1 million, 10 million rand, he just plays. So I couldn't handle that. And I eventually stayed with teaching golf, which I did for 18 years.
Yeah.
And I loved teaching golf. But every day I would go home and watch every race of horse racing. I would study every day.
Yeah.
It was still my passion.
So whilst you were teaching golf and whilst you were preoccupied with teaching golf, in the background, in your mind, you were really interested in horse racing and you wanted to get involved some shape or form. But you also owned a couple of racehorses.
Yes, well, it wasn't in my mind to get involved.
Yeah.
But after standing in the sun for 18 years teaching golf,
yeah,
I promise you, Nico, you just can't do it anymore. So when the opportunity arose to get into golf, I had the TV experience, so I knew I'd have that advantage. I had the looks, which you need in this program. And when I heard, like I said, I didn't know John very well, and when he mentioned the auditions, I came running. And I think I met you on the first day. I met a lady called Adele on the very first day.
Yeah.
I was excited just to be standing there. I remember saying to Charlene, I'll sweep the floor of Horse Racing Channel. That's how much I
wanted
horses.
to just get involved.
That's how passionate I was. Yeah.
Well, look at it this way: if you continue along the lines of Retief Goosen, you may have ended up meeting Donald Trump and being part of the Cyril Ramaphosa crew that went over to the White House.
Gary Player was invited. He didn't go.
He was invited.
Yeah, he's getting a bit tired now. Yeah, traveling.
Well, Gary, as we know, is really involved. He's another huge golfing name that's involved in horse racing and absolutely loves it to bits. I'm just very much interested when you mentioned trick shot. Just tell some people watching this exactly what trick shot golf is.
Well, that's the mistake I made in my life. I should have really done that because it's a rare talent.
Yeah. What is it basically? What is trick shot golf?
So I could bounce a ball and throw it over my head and hit it backwards, and there's
and you do golf shows,
yeah, all over the world.
Yeah.
And at that time, we're talking 13, 20 years ago, it was 20,000 rand for half an hour.
Really? Yeah.
So why
well
I left
sought
that
after
industry?
Yeah.
Oh, mad!
And you were at the top level here in South Africa.
I was South African champion, and then I went over to Australia, Dubai, England. I went to the World Championship in England.
Yeah.
Finished 10th. It was very biased. There were a whole lot of English judges there. It was very biased.
Oh, really? So you entered competitions?
Yes.
Did you do okay though?
Yeah, I finished 10th in the world.
Yeah.
It was all right. I was upset.
Yeah.
There wasn't a guy better than me. But, I believe there was a bit of biased.
Yeah.
Biased.
Yeah.
But trick shots just came easily to me. I don't know why. I think it was the hitting balls for 16 hours for 5 years, hand-eye coordination. But I could do a lot of tricks that other people couldn't do as well. But here comes the but. To do that all the time, your back, being 6'5", my back started giving me very serious trouble. My tendons in both hands tore many times. So the injuries were getting very serious towards the end of my career anyway. And I was 38. So it was time to seek something else.
Time to move on. So when you got the gig at Teletrack at the time, which was the horse racing channel, which we were part of, you grabbed it with both hands and you haven't looked back since.
No.
You've absolutely loved it. You spent hours in studio presenting live racing for hours. I mean, those live racing shifts can be up to 10 hours a day, starting with Australian racing, ending off with American racing in the evening.
That's right.
There can be a long, long shift, but you've done your hours there, Lyle, and you've studied a lot of race cards. We'll talk about the professional tipping and so forth, which I think people want to know more about. But when you got in and you were part of it, was that your sort of life goal just to get involved?
Yes.
You ended up where you wanted.
Absolutely. I mean, on course, I would interview Pierre Stradon. I mean, Pierre Stradon was my hero since I was 15 years old. So to mix and match with the horses and the jockeys and the trainers was always my dream.
Yeah.
And then, of course, came the racehorse. Oh, my goodness. How beautiful is a racehorse?
Yeah.
Barring a dolphin, there's nothing better in the world. It is a majestic machine, and it's my pleasure to see them every day. It's an honor.
So whilst you were working in the studio, you were also working on course as an on-course presenter, doing the interviews with the winning connections and so forth. That must please you a lot to be able to go out on the course. I know for me, as a racing commentator, I love its escapism. I love going out, commentator, using my binoculars, calling a race, describing it to people and so forth. You must love going to the race course and sort of smelling the horses and looking at these animals, seeing what their demeanor is, so that you can be able to tip them to people if you like what they look like. And I know you work a lot on looks.
Oh, yes. I mean, just meeting some of these champions, to mention a few, the Hawams of the world, the Summer Puddings of the world. I've literally touched them, met them when they were in their prime. Wow, I know people who don't know horse racing will be laughing at me right now, but I mean, just to see Summer Pudding in the flesh, you know what I mean, Nico? She was absolutely amazing, just to touch her. But yeah, being on course, it also gives you access to the trainers and the jockeys, the inside information, if that makes sense, because it's very difficult tipping off course. When you're there, it's much easier to see the horse, to listen to the talk, to listen to what the jockeys are saying in the interviews, the trainers. You learn a much, much more on course than you do anywhere else, and you become part of the team. And I wanted to mention that during COVID, what was it, like 2 years we didn't race properly? Something like 2 years. I was the lone person on course with all the jockeys and trainers. So I think
and the masks.
And you were there too. Yeah, and the masks. So you were upstairs, I was downstairs. There were only jockeys and trainers on course, and the horses. Yeah. So I got into a very good friendship with all the trainers and jockeys. And that was great, because now you really get to know them well. Their habits, their superstitions, you get to know them as human beings. And that was a really fun time for me, actually, COVID, believe it or not. It was fantastic. But yeah, I'm honored to, even if I stop now and die tomorrow, I met all these champions. I met the champion humans, champion horses, and lived both my dreams, golf and horse racing.
Absolutely.
Luckiest person in the world.
So let's talk now about the direct line, because ultimately we've partnered now with 10Bet, and it's great to have a backing from a huge betting brand, the likes of 10Bet, who also are the official betting partner of Bafana. And it's great for the direct line now to reach a relatively new audience that will see us. What do the direct line do then? So you joined up with us. They're basically 4 tipsters, of which you and I head the crew, but we're basically a team of 4.
Yes.
What do we do?
Well, must mention firstly that the other 2 have got 10 times more experience than us, because I think they are so old, Nico. We need to start retiring them soon. But their knowledge is superb. So the Ghost Rider and Nino Podesta, they just know everything about racing. So it's an honor to have those 2 guys with us. They've been doing it for 50 years. You and I literally also, since we were born almost, this has been our passion. So not only have we all studied, we've got the experience. We've tried everything betting. We've tried every technique that's ever been used. We are not only in the industry, but we are punters, tipsters, and then we've got the information we do. We are hands-on with jockeys and trainers. We've got access to that very privileged information, which we pass on via our tipping. But then, of course, we're very good at finding value, the 4 of us, because we study. So the favorite can be even money. How many times we've done this? Even money favorite. We find a horse at 8-1 that's actually weighted to beat the favorite. And we tip it, and it often wins. So that's our expertise: finding value, inside information, our knowledge on what the horse should look like, etc., etc. I think and our 2 old boys, I mean, they just literally know everything about everything.
So basically what happens is every single day there's South African racing, which can be 5-6 times a week. We get on a group call, and the 4 of us thrash it out.
Literally.
And eventually we come up with a consensus, which goes on a sheet that is sold to subscribers. And those subscribers, I think at the end of the day, they speak to our PR lady Bella, and she gives them all the info once we've finished dealing with them. Normally we finish about 9:30, latest 10 a.m. The morning of race meeting, and we distribute those sheets out either via email or via WhatsApp normally. Again, there's a lot of bickering and a lot of fighting in those meetings, because we want to get it right. I'm going to be fairly critical here. There's a lot of wannabe tipsters out there. I find, Lyle, to be honest with you, that there's no recourse for people listening to bad tips to continue listening to bad tips. And, there's got to be some sort of monitor that monitors the bad tips and says, are these guys really tipsters? So we like being right. Obviously, every tipster wants to be right, but we pretty hard on ourselves.
It's so funny you say that, Nico, because a lot of people out there, the tipsters or the pals and me, don't see me as the best tipster, but I've got facts for you that I've never shared. When Tab kept a list of the tipsters in South Africa, I was always number one for a good year or two. That's changed that system. When we've done those competitions, through that tipsters competition, I don't think I've ever missed the top 10. And we are talking over a period of years. I've often finished top 3. We're talking out of hundreds, Nico. So just on that, the right tipsters, my point is, are not necessarily getting recognized.
The accolades.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe some of the wrong ones are. And we do take it very seriously. And I think that's also our talent, is we're not there to give them tips for the sake of giving tips. We put our own money on that horse. We really like it, and for very good reason. And having the 4 of us, we respect every single one of each other's opinions. So, if you come up with a number 8 and none of us like it, you explain yourself. And if your explanation is good enough, we put it in. And that's actually how we make our biggest money, with those funny horses.
Yeah. With the horses that we generally don't agree on, but we force our own opinion into it. So it does get into those final selection pages. Right. There's a lot of people that may be watching this that don't have the first clue about horse racing. Explain to them how horses run to form, because people won't believe it, but it is uncanny. How can a champion racehorse always beat the other horses? How is it possible? And how can they always run to form? You and I know that when we study a form book of horse racing, that if one horse has beaten another horse, it's possible for that other horse to beat that horse that beat it before, because of a change in the weight, a change in the draw, a change in the jockey.
Correct. Luck.
But that's what we're out there to do. We're finding out if horse A that beat horse B can be beaten by horse B, or whether horse A will still prevail over horse B because the changes aren't that material.
Thinking out of the box, because everyone will look at A because A looks better, but B is weighted better. And for the viewers out there, if you take 2 horses that are exactly the same and you run them over 1,000 meters and they're like twins, they finish exactly together. On the next time they run, you put 2 more kilograms on this 500 kilogram animal. The other one will win by 1 length. If you put 4 kilograms on this one, that one will win by 2 lengths. Yeah. It's a science. It doesn't always work exactly, but it's a science. And you and I particularly are very weight orientated.
Yes,
because it does make, people don't think weight makes a difference. It does. Yeah. It certainly does.
So the Direct Line is a tipping service. It is a subscription service too. And basically you pay a figure of 400 Rand per month or per period of 4 weeks, and you get your selections, and we'll share the details where you can contact Bella on and how you can get part of that. But we're also on all our social pages. So we're now obviously powered by 10Bet. So we're all over the place. You can catch us on Facebook. You can catch us on Twitter. In fact, on X. Actually, you can get, we give a free selection, a one for the day selection out there, which finds some juicily priced winners at times.
I want to throw something in about just what you were saying before that. Sorry, you've got a very good memory, unlike me.
Yeah.
So when you watch a race a week ago,
yeah,
and the horse got inconvenienced and he got trapped and something happened, you remember that.
Yeah.
And when we do the tips 2-3 weeks later, you remember that and you say, oh, that horse, I remember his last race.
Yeah.
And that's a talent that you have, and you throw that horse in because you know he's going to be closer this time.
Absolutely.
So there's those things just to add in as well. It's experience.
It is experience. So just to get back to you, so we're on X, we're on Instagram, obviously now teaming up with 10Bet. We're using their channels as well to promote getting our selections. But we urge people to join us and see what it's like.
Yeah.
See how, we do have a lot of fun with it.
And we give an explanation for each race. I think that's important.
Yes.
We don't put numbers there.
Yeah.
We tell you why we're putting those numbers.
Right.
And we give each race a rating.
Okay.
10 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest.
Yeah.
So it's easy to read.
Yeah. So that's what we do on a daily basis for South African horse racing. Now, what about the future for Lyle Cooper? Apart from spending all these times, you battled a bit with your health, Lyle, which has been tough for all of us. All of us have really bad. I have too. But it keeps you going to the extent that you spend hours burying your head and your nose into these race cards studying for. which
Yes.
gives you a lot of pride.
You know what's so funny about it? The best part of the entire job is the studying form.
Yeah.
That's actually...
You look forward to
I
it.
love studying form.
Yeah.
But I get very tired doing it. I love finding the horse to beat the horse that shouldn't be beaten. And, bookies, they're humans. They put up the betting and...
Well, we're out to beat the bookies, aren't we?
Yeah. Sometimes it's wrong because they haven't studied as hard as I have.
Yeah.
And that's where you make your money. And that's the exciting part of racing for me. And then, of course, seeing the horse. Just the horse itself. I'll keep on mentioning that. Anyone in this room that's with us here, if they haven't seen a horse live at a race course, you haven't lived.
You must have your favorites. Tell us about some of your favorite horses that you've seen over the years.
Yes, I love that question.
Because you've been particularly fond of, I know, Socrates as a sire, but I was fond of him as a racehorse.
Yes.
Not so fond of him as a sire just yet. But what are some of your best memories of horse racing that you remember that you really, really enjoyed those horses?
The one that stands out head over shoulders always is Horse Chestnut.
Yeah.
I was there for his win in the third leg of the Triple Crown. Mrs. Oppenheimer was there. That will always stand out. Turpentine was full from corner to corner, and Horse Chestnut was just the best I've ever seen. Another one for me, I really loved Socrates. Absolutely loved him as a horse. Hawam overshadowed him. Hawam was a little bit better than him, but I just loved him as a human. I got to meet him as a horse, I should say. And I think as a sire, just wait. I think maybe a bit like Silvana. Maybe it'll take a bit of time. I want to quickly think of anything else that really stood out for me. Give Me Another. I was quite impressed with Give Me Another.
Yeah, she's gone overseas now.
What a pity.
I think she'll win a couple of races overseas.
What a pity she left. Oh, she was lovely. Quid Pro Quo in recent memory. Loved Quid Pro Quo. And then, some of those other girls and boys, there's so many of them. Malmus.
Yeah.
Malmus, notice they're all recent. Malmus, Socrates, my favorites in the recent times.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back 10 years.
What about some races? What races do you look forward to? The actual races on the calendar?
Well, it's an interesting question for me. I actually quite enjoy maidens. Yeah. As much as I do a grade one, to be honest.
Really? So it's just one race is the same as the next?
It doesn't bother me in the slightest what race it is. The ones I don't like are the 66 merit-rated fillies and mares.
Yeah.
Because there's 14 horses. They're not particularly good. And now you've got to sit there and work out all their weights and see who's better. And they're inconsistent. They don't run to form. That's not my ideal. My ideal is the maidens, the Pinnacle Stakes, and the Group 1s, 2s and 3s. I like good horses.
What's the future of horse racing look like through the eyes of Lyle Cooper?
Much more positive than it was a few years ago. We've had our problems, but it's feeling more positive at the moment. On course, there are a few more people arriving. The betting's starting to go up a little bit again. And I hope we are reaching the middle class. We need the middle class to save horse racing, not the upper class. And I think to some extent we are. Thank you to internet, online betting, cell phones. Now the middle class can sit at home and take their £5 and put it onto a horse with ease.
Yeah. It is a bit negative because we'd like to see more people at the racecourse ultimately because we like filling racecourses.
Because England, they have both.
It's free to go to a racecourse. So, if you know where the racecourse is, you can walk in and you walk in for free. There's food and drink available and you can get up and close personal with the horses and the jockeys and so forth.
England has the crowd and the internet betting.
Yeah.
So it is sad. Hong Kong, crowd and internet. We need both. We are lacking the crowds. It's disappointing. But I think with some really clever marketing and some really, maybe some of our race courses are in the wrong place, we could argue. But some good marketing will go a long way, I think.
You like to put your money where your mouth is. So when you do bet, what's your favorite betting? What's your favorite type of bet?
My favorite bet is a straight win.
Yeah.
But
I'm a big one for straight win.
Oh, you also?
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about what's run second and third. You just want your horse to win.
But my brain tells me, Lyle, be patient, take a place bet.
Yeah.
But my head goes with the win every time. I quite like quartets. Taking
quartet is picking the first four in the right order.
First four, and I take a bad one and I float the bad one to finish in the top four and take as many as you can because that pays.
Yeah.
But I think straight win. Yeah. Pick six would be my best bet, but my percentage of catching it is just too small.
Yeah.
It's too depressing.
Very hard to pick 6 consecutive winners on a day.
It's hard, Nico.
Yeah.
I think I've caught 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not enough.
No, not enough.
No.
Lyle, it's great having you in the studio chatting about what we do together. And I know that it's a new era for the Direct Line, partnering with 10Bet and having them on board. And I just hope that we reach a wider audience that can enjoy the hours that you put in and the time and effort that you put in with your selections, along with the rest of us as our team. But thanks very much for coming in and chatting to us, and all the best with your future endeavors.
My pleasure. I think you and I will be in horse racing till the day we fall over and die.
Thanks.
We love it that much.
Thanks
for
coming in.
Thank you.
Always like having expert South Africans plying their trade elsewhere in the world, and on the Direct Line, powered by 10Bet, we always promise you that. And I've hooked up with an old mate of mine. Brett Crawford is now training racehorses in Hong Kong. This is his first season there. He's been given a trainer's license to operate over there, and he joins us on the line now, live from Hong Kong, which is great to see you, Brett. You're looking in tip-top shape. It looks pretty hot where you are, and we're speaking to you in the evening your time there, but it's going to get hotter in just under a couple of weeks.
Yeah, hi Nico. I must say it's if you think Durban's humid, you have no idea. This place has been really crazy since we arrived. Basically June, July, August until middle of September. So it's taken a bit of adjusting, but I must say Gwen and I have settled in well, and I think things are going along quietly, and we're happy with our progress so far.
What are you looking forward to? I mean, firstly, tell us what have you found since you got to Hong Kong? It's a different world out there. How have you adjusted? And how did you get the racehorses that you've currently got in your yard? How many have you got in your yard, and how did you get those racehorses?
Yeah, look, Nico, it's obviously very different. Obviously being taken out of the comfort zone for sure. I think, we've had to basically come and start from scratch again. But it's actually been enjoyable. It's been hard work. Obviously networking, meeting new owners for the very first time, and obviously, trying to convince them to give you an opportunity. So, it's been very different. I think we've done pretty well. I think, we've been fortunate enough to be given opportunities by quite a few owners. So we currently have 25 in the yard. We have 2 new horses en route from Australia that have been purchased by the owners that they will be sending to us. It's looking up. I'm happy with the horses that we've received. And as you say, it's very different here. Things were a bit quiet in the off season. Most people went away, so we were pretty much here on our own, which was in a way quite nice to settle in, get used to everything. But you can already feel the energy and the pace is picking up, and there's a lot of guys who are going to make sure their horses are ready for the first meeting back.
And as a South African, well sought after, because your CV reads so well, Brett. I mean, you've trained multiple Group 1 winners. Every time I speak to people that want to come new into horse racing, that want to have horses at the highest level, I say, you've got to go and look at the CVs of trainers to have Grade 1 winners. Ultimately, that's where every owner wants to be, in a Grade 1 winners enclosure. And you just found the knack of doing it ever since you started training, ever since you became a fully licensed trainer. And you've passed those genes on to your son, because he's picked up very quickly from where you left off, James. He's doing a remarkable job over here. But Group 1 is where people want to be. Over there for you now, your main focus is on having an early winner, I suppose, being in that jurisdiction.
Yeah, look, Nico, it's obviously, being new in town, obviously, people are definitely prepared to give you the opportunity, which is fantastic. But in saying that, there's also expectations with that. And as you say, I think when we start to run our horses, whether it be the first meeting or not, there will be an expectation of watching and seeing how your horses run. So I think it's very important to step them out, feeling well within themselves, and obviously trying to make sure that they run a decent race to make some sort of impression, that's for sure.
You want to make an early impact. Just in terms of riders, Brett, are you beholden to using certain riders, or how does it work over there in choosing the riders that will ride for you?
Nico, yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty diverse. There's a lot of owners who have preferences, and they do obviously ask if it's possible to use their preferences. And then obviously there's a lot of guys here that have been coming to help ride track work, especially a lot of the local boys. When I say local, I'm talking from a South African perspective. Keegan, Lyle's just returned back from his break. Luke's not back yet, but I'm sure he'll be back shortly.
He's on a permanent holiday there, Luke. He's on a permanent holiday as Luke Ferraris.
He's doing exceptionally well. He had a great season last year, so I'm sure if he follows up with that, he'll go really good again. So there's a lot of guys they send messages looking for horses. So one thing about it, it's very much on basically on point here. Guys they pretty much even know where the horses are going to run before nominations go in. So it's very different, and then they're booking trials. And here, it's not like home. The guys pitch up and ride work here. You've got to book riders to come and take horses. And that when I say book, I literally mean book. If it's 5:28 in the morning, it's 5:28. So it's very different. But so far, we've enjoyed it. It's very early mornings. We start really early here compared to home. Like I say, I think we've got a nice handful of horses together, and next week's a big week for us. It's the first time we'll be sending some horses to trial. So we've got a horse trialing next week on Wednesday. And if he puts up a good performance, then we'll be looking to nominate him for the first meeting on the 7th of September.
And there are a lot of people, obviously, that watch those trials, because if you look at the Hong Kong Jockey Club website, I mean, they publish everything about those trials in terms of times, who they ran against, and whatever it is. It's like a mini race meeting.
Yeah, Nico, quite right. There's actually every single day there's press at the track, following every single day. As you say, every bit of work that gets done on a daily basis is recorded and published on the website, including videos of the horse's work. And then obviously on trial days, even more so, the trials are live and published on the sites. And so, there's pretty much as much information on that website as anybody needs. So you can pretty much follow any horse and see exactly what it's been doing basically since the season. The track's reopened, in the middle of last month.
And then you've got to have one eye on your son, James, and how things are going back here in South Africa. He's got Timothy Woodruff now as his assistant in Joburg. Things seem to be doing pretty nicely. I mean, I commentated on a horse called Luce Verde the other day. Won a very, very good race. Looks like an exciting prospect for the Highveld. Certainly in the upcoming feature season here, it looks like on the up. But you must be keeping a close eye on how your son's going, because, as I said, you've passed on the baton to him, and he's done really, really well.
Yeah, exactly, Nico. It's been like 20 years of making that James has been able to step up to, and thank goodness he has. He's done a fantastic job. He's obviously still got a lot to learn, but he himself is well aware of that. Even myself, I learn every day. You're never on top of this game, and if you think you are, you got another thing coming. So he's got lots to learn, and he's always on the phone to me. We try and watch as many of his races as we can. Sometimes it gets a little bit difficult because of the time difference. I get up at 3:30 every morning, so some nights when he's got runners at 11, I'm fast asleep. But I clearly watch the replays in the morning, and if there's anything we chat about, he'll give me a call the next morning, and we'll go through things. And if there's things he's not sure, we've been discussing the sale that's on currently now. He's gone and done his homework, so he's up there looking, and obviously, we've spoken about a few numbers. So, I don't think that'll ever change, Nico, especially when it's your son. We're there for each other, and, where I can help him remotely, I certainly will.
for you, I just wanted you to know that because we're all shouting your horses home, and we have done so for many, many years, Brett. Before you go, just something quickly a bit different. I guarantee you now, okay, you told me you can't stay awake, but I guarantee you if there's a Liverpool match, doesn't matter what time on God's earth that's happening, you'll be watching that. Is that right? I mean, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you'll be tuned in.
Listen, I'll be honest, I woke up the other morning to watch the first game. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But luckily, it was only half an hour earlier than I normally wake up, so I managed to watch. I was a little bit nervous at one point when it was 2-2, but anyway, the boys pulled one out the bag and managed to get the first home win, so that was fantastic.
Well, that's great, Brett. I'm sure they'll do exceptionally well for you too. Great catching up with you, mate, and all the best for your season up ahead. Give our regards to Gwendolyn, and just hope everything goes swimmingly well for you guys over there.
No, thanks, Nico, and thanks for taking the time and keeping an eye on us, and we'll certainly be making South Africa proud.
Thanks, Brett Crawford. Thanks on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. That's Brett Crawford all the way from Hong Kong. It's time now for Nico's Notebook, and in today's Notebook, we look back at the recent Equus Awards, which were held last week down in KwaZulu-Natal at Greyville Racecourse, with the compere Alistair Cohen being the master of ceremonies for the evening. 10 categories, and the winners were the champion 2-year-old filly went to the Alan Greef filly Golden Palm. Well, Alan Greef certainly stole the show when it came to all the juvenile fillies races countrywide, and he earned himself another very, very important award in his life, a Special Achievement Award by the Equus Awards Committee. The champion 2-year-old male was Jan van Gooyen from De Kock Stable. 3-year-old filly was Fatal Flaw. The 3-year-old male was 8 on 18. The sprinter was Gimme a Prince. The miler was One Stripe. Champion middle distance horse 8 on 18. The champion stayer was King Pels. The older female was Double Grand Slam. And then the culmination of the Horse of the Year ended up going to 8 on 18. Well done to Justin Snaith, who picked up the champion trainer's title for yet again another year. And well done to 8 on 18, becoming the champion racehorse of South Africa. Well done to owners Nick Johnson and to Johan Rupert, who co-own 8 on 18. It was bred by Drakenstein Stud. I had a word with Nick Johnson and his wife Celeste at the awards ceremony last week about the exploits of 8 on 18, and he's set to take South Africa by storm again this next new season. They're really looking forward to him in the Cape summer season, and he's certainly a horse that you can pencil in for some of the big races coming up at the end of 2025. Also, notably, I did see the advertisement that Bloodstock South Africa put out, which is a tremendous achievement and has to certainly gain headlines, is the fact that every single one of the horses that won the awards was sold at a Bloodstock South Africa sale, which is really a magnificent achievement considering the fact that they go all the way from 2-year-old horses all the way up to the older horse and Horse of the Year category. Every single winner was sold at a Bloodstock South Africa auction somewhere in the country, which is really a feather in the cap for all the Bloodstock South Africa team. Finally, on the show, we want you to join up and open your 10Bet account, and you can use the following link. Just click on the link and find out what the 10Bet world is all about and how you can bet on horse racing. We encourage you to just click on the link on your screens now. That wraps it up for another show here on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. I'm Nico Kritsotis saying goodbye. Have a great week. See you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.